What happens to team morale when life pressures are ignored at work? You know the feeling. Your team used to click, trust was high, people were energized, and now there's a subtle tension, a dip in energy, increased turnover, fewer ideas in meetings, more missed deadlines, but no one is saying why. Here's a possibility that most leaders never consider. When employees' real-life pressures are ignored, morale can quietly erode. And the twist is that even people who aren't directly affected feel it too. If we haven't met, I'm Dr. Anna Thomas. I'm a physician, leadership speaker, caregiver advocate, and corporate wellness specialist. I help organizations strengthen their workforce and create workplaces where people and performance can thrive together. Even as we enter an era of AI, automation, and agentic teams, the future of work is still human, and that work is changing dramatically. But at the same time, employees are navigating complex personal and professional pressures that are only going to escalate in the coming years. For example, in the next 5, 10, 15 years, we will see an exponential increase in the number of older adults who will need caregiving support. Who will be providing that care? Working adults. Right now, 63 million Americans are caregivers. That's 1 in 4 adults, with more than half of them currently working full-time. Those numbers are expected to increase and will have a tremendous impact on our communities and, yes, even our workplaces. And caregiving is just one example of a personal stressor that will impact the workplace. Mental health, chronic illness, stress, and burnout are all on the rise, and the organizations that will thrive are those that lead with care, culture, awareness, resources, and empowerment. Care. Through this series, I share practical strategies, leadership tools, and insights to help you create cultures that support well-being, strengthen engagement, and retain top talent. If you'd like a clear starting point, then check out my free training, The Future of Work is Care. The link is below. And while you're there, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with another leader who is ready to build a workplace that cares. Let's get into today's topic. In today's episode, we are unpacking a silent culture killer. What really happens to morale when employees' personal challenges are treated like private problems instead of organizational realities? Because the cost of silence isn't just turnover. It's mistrust, disengagement, and team-wide burnout. So here's what happens when life pressures go unspoken. First of all, people disengage quietly. They stop volunteering for stretch roles, they decline visibility opportunities, they work through exhaustion until they can't. And because no one knows what's really happening, it's assumed that they've checked out. 2, teammates fill in the blanks. When the communication breaks down, stories fill the silence. Maybe she's lost interest. Maybe he's not pulling his weight. Maybe flexibility means favoritism. These assumptions, they breed mistrust and morale starts to dip. 3, workloads shift unfairly and silently. Colleagues pick up the slack without structure or support. But without transparency, resentment starts to build and everyone loses. Ignoring life pressures doesn't just hurt the individual, it fractures the foundation of trust that holds your team together. Healthy team morale is built on psychological safety, fairness, transparency, a shared purpose. When any of these pillars crumble, engagement crumbles too. Let's say a team member requests flexible hours to manage family or health needs. If they've met with vague HR responses, inconsistent reactions from their manager, or side comments from coworkers, that one moment, it sends a loud message that this isn't a safe place to ask for help. And that message can spread fast. Even employees without current challenges start thinking, well, what happens if I need help? How safe is it to speak up here? Performance doesn't drop because people can't do their jobs. It drops because they no longer feel protected while doing them. Let's talk about what great managers do to protect morale. First of all, they normalize disclosure early and often. From onboarding onward, they say, if life throws a curveball, an illness, stress, caregiving, or change, let's talk. We have options. That one line plants the seed for psychological safety. Second, create fairness through structure, not secrecy. When flexibility is transparent, tracked, balanced, equity stays visible, and trust stays intact. And third, coach the team through change. If someone's workload shifts, lead the conversation. What needs to be covered? How long will this last? How will contributions be recognized? Collaboration beats quiet resentment. 4, name and normalize life balance. When personal challenges are acknowledged as part of modern work, stigma disappears. It becomes a season, not a scarlet letter. So you want to measure some early warning signs. That's 5. Monitor. You can use pulse survey trends, keep track of PTO usage, manage their sentiment, promotion equity. When these shift, dig deeper. Prevention is better than crisis repair, and the only way you can identify it early is to be monitoring for these things. So our takeaways: ignoring employees' life realities doesn't just hurt those individuals, it weakens the entire team's ecosystem. And when trust breaks, so does morale, innovation, retention. To rebuild, you don't need every solution. You just need to start with making speaking up feel safe and supported. Because when people feel protected, they don't just stay, they thrive. And if you're ready to build a team where trust grows even under pressure, then start with my free training. The Future of Work is Care. It is filled with frameworks, tools, and data that leaders can use today. The link is in the description. And if you haven't yet, pick up my book, Workplaces That Care. It's your playbook for building a resilient, human-centered culture that sustains both people and performance. Here's a question I want to leave you with. What is the cost of silence? If one person doesn't feel safe to speak up, how long before others follow? Remember, you can't solve every problem, but you can make speaking up feel safe. And when you do, morale doesn't just survive, it strengthens. In the next video, we're going to talk about how I can reduce stigma around personal challenges without lowering standards. We'll explore how to support employees without sacrificing performance, and why empathy and excellence are not opposites. Even as we enter an era of AI, remember, the future of work is still human. Let's create workplaces that care together.